Hi, I'm Chase Garbarino.
And I'm Greg Gomer, and this is the BostInno Beat.
And as we head into August, we're hitting a couple of slow news weeks, so we're turning to the evergreen topics. Bijan Sabet of Spark Capital recently told Sarah Lacey that our non-compete legislation has a chilling effect on the tech ecosystem here in Boston. We've covered this a lot, and we completely agree.
I mean, and obviously last week we covered Scott Kirsner's take on Boston playing for the minor leagues, saying we don't have any big league companies here in Boston. So the thing is, Scott does this every year. He trolls the community. He's bullying us. We really need to band together and try to drive him out of town.
Guys, I'm literally right here.
Well, obviously we're having some problem, and it sometimes happens with live television.
Let's talk about RoboCop.
Oh, hell no. We'll do it live.
For the big one this week, we're going to go head-to-head and talk about Boston's tech community. Are we playing for the majors? Or are we a small minor league team? As a guest, Scott Kirsner, we're going to let you go first.
It's very nice of you. Thanks for having me on the beat, by the way. I'm a regular viewer. And, you know, I thought I had to come on because you guys were like, you were baiting me, saying that I was baiting everybody with this blog post.
We trolled you trolling people.
Yeah. It's a meta troll.
Yeah.
So, you know, my only point is that I'm a huge booster of the Boston tech scene. And my only point is that I got tired of people applauding and celebrating at things that I actually thought you know, were losses, were lame. You know, when someone gets acqui-hired, when it's a 4-person startup, they get acqui-hired and they get shipped out to some company in Silicon Valley, to me, that's not getting on second base or getting on third base, if you want to use the baseball metaphor.
All right.
And so, you know, and I also just thought that, you know, when we fund companies and then they decide to move out to San Francisco, Plastic being the latest example, like, you know, let's not say, oh, great, good job. You know, we gave them their start here in Boston, and who cares if they grow to 100 or 1,000 people out in the valley.
Couple arguments I'll make. First off, the acqui-hiring thing should be called what it is. It should be an acqui-hire, not, you know, call a spade on that. Agreed. What I will say is, with all of the acqui-hires, assuming that, you know, a bunch of them stay here, you're getting a couple of people who've got, you know, money in the pocket, second time, third time, hopefully in a position to go bigger. So
if they stay here in Boston,
it's a good thing. If
not
they
if they go,
here.
you know, the
Correct.
Dropbox acqui-hire from a few months ago. Those guys are out in San Francisco.
Right. So if they stay here, it's a good thing. Personally, for Plastic and these different groups, I understand why people congratulate them. It's great for them. I agree it's not great for Boston. But what I will say is that if you look 4 or 5 years back, where we are with TripAdvisor and Wayfair, TripAdvisor just bought a Silicon Valley company for $200 million cash stock. You know, we have people that will be, I think, are projected to be pillar companies here. So where you see doom, I see the glass half full, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see the glass as half full. I just want it to be totally full. I guess what I would say is that, you know, these pillar companies, we're not creating enough of them often enough here in Boston. And, you know, you just got to have that as the goal in mind. It involves the VCs, right. It involves the entrepreneurs, it involves all of us who are like media or early adopters kind of talking about and using the products. And, you know, I just feel like we're taking our eye off the ball by saying it's great for another branch office, for another acquisition to happen in Boston.
Agreed. Hopefully we kill those non-competes. People can leave the big companies that were pillars, and we create more competition.
And it seems like we're going to lose that battle on Beacon Hill, right? This is the last gasp to get anything to happen with non-competes this year.
I think that's the most critical thing to building more pillars.
I agree.
All right. We agree.
To disagree. Scott 2, Chase 0. Making moves this week, we're going to talk a little bit about Scott's exclusive on some big name HubSpot departures. David Cancel being one of them, Chief Product Officer, I believe is his title. How does this make HubSpot look as they go potentially on the road for their IPO? We know the S1's coming. To lose a big product guy might be a little tough.
Yeah, I definitely feel like HubSpot was working at trying to manage the message this week of, you know, all our people are entrepreneurs. We want to support them when they leave to go start their own companies. Obviously, David Cancel and Elias Torres, the VP of engineering, one of the VPs of engineering at HubSpot, both came in through an acquisition. So the message from Dharmesh was, you know, we're happy. It can hurt a little bit, but we're happy when people go off to do their own things. It does raise a lot of questions about the timing of the IPO. You know, did it get pushed back in some way? And David was kind of getting antsy and didn't want to wait another 3 or 6 months to stay through the IPO.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's certainly some signals here. And to be honest, when David and crew sold Performable 3 years ago, when we broke the news, I was a little disappointed in the sale. I think David Cancel was not a great fit initially, his sort of startup gangster mentality for the orange sprocket over there at HubSpot. But obviously it was a big win for HubSpot. Performable tech really powered what I believe powered their growth.
Everyone at HubSpot and outside HubSpot will tell you that David and his team rebuilt the entire HubSpot product suite from start to finish. So, this is an example of a Cambridge company acqui-hiring talent in, bringing in not just Performable, but 140 and a whole bunch of smaller companies to make HubSpot, give them more momentum, make them a more powerful company. So I do think, if the IPO story is about having a really powerful engineering team, this takes a little bit away from that.
Yeah, either way, we're going to be keeping our eye on HubSpot, definitely. But more importantly, we're curious to see what David Cancel and crew are up to. Word's out that Chris Lynch of Atlas Venture is trying to raise a fund for his big data incubator, whatever it is, HackReduce.
Yeah, I mean, we know the guys over at Atlas are making a ton of moves with the Boston Syndicate. They are very clearly committed to investing in Boston. Chris, we hope this fund goes through, and we're all cheering for you.
Big fan of your work.
Next week is our big Boston Fest event. Next Thursday, August 7th, we have a couple thousand people come out to the World Trade Center in the Seaport where we give our Coolest Companies Awards. This year, some of the top nominees are Clipped, Wayfair, Communispace, Google, Insight Squared, Maxwell Health, along with a couple hundred others that I didn't look through the list to find out who they were. But we're giving Scott a free ticket, so
Scott's
hopefully he'll be there.
All right.
What more do you need?
If it ever isn't fun, let us know and we'll get back to our roots.
One more bit of news this week, big news this week. We're back on the Bieber train. Apparently, Orlando Bloom took a swing at my main man, Justin Bieber, at a restaurant in Ibiza.
It's pronounced Ibiza.
That is some hard-hitting stuff. Scott, thoughts?
Well, I'm just glad that Paul English wasn't there. I saw he was tweeting from Ibiza a week or two ago.
It's pronounced Ibiza.
He might have stirred it up, who knows?
Thanks for coming out.
Literally, no, it would be funny in the outtakes is like when Scott talks, you do that like Charlie Brown, like,